Located in the remote wilderness of Maharashtra, India, it lay forgotten by civilization for centuries. Dating back over 2,000 years, these ancient caves trace the rise and golden age of Buddhist art. Commissioned by emperors and devout monks, it was built as a secluded place for intense spiritual devotion. How did ancient builders hollow out these solid volcanic cliffs using only simple hammers and chisels? Historians believe construction began with precise grid lines marked directly onto the exterior cliff face. Early chroniclers note that excavation strictly commenced from the top down to prevent rock collapse. The top-down excavation method allowed builders to work safely without building massive support scaffolding. Records indicate workers initially carved small upper openings to let light and air into the dark stone. Teams worked in continuous shifts to clear out tons of solid rock as the upper ceiling expanded. Accessing the sheer cliff face required sturdy wooden ladders securely anchored into the rock fractures. Precision leveling ensured the inner ceilings sat perfectly horizontal before the floors were reached. A dedicated layout of separate caves was established, spanning across the horseshoe bend of the cliff. Historians note the use of water and wedges, exploiting natural rock flaws to break the stone cleanly. Debris left the site daily, cleared by hundreds of cooperative laborers working in the ravine. The unique top-down excavation design was intentionally chosen to avoid structural collapses early on. Every structural column was rough-shaped out of the living rock, left attached to ceiling and floor. As the excavation neared its midpoint, the massive scale of the carved network became clear. Excavators slowly worked downward, carving out the floor layers during the final foundation stage. Floor markers provided essential stability, protecting the cave layout against accidental overcarving. By the end of this phase, a series of solid rock hollows stood ready for deep artistic structural carving. Internal wooden scaffolding began to rise inside the portals, signaling the next structural carving phase. Carving plans firmly established massive rows of pillars, forming distinct aisles for circumambulation. The primary inner columns began their structural refinement directly from the rough rock platform. With the substructure carved out, the iconic monasteries were ready to reveal their grand interior designs. The completed brickwork of the holy tank established a massive, perfectly watertight reservoir. Every access path was heavily reinforced to bear the weight of centuries of arriving pilgrims. Logistical records show timber was floated across the filling tank to expedite material transport. With the colossal foundation complete, the sanctuary was ready to grow skyward from the water. The structure began taking shape as workers raised the thick red brick walls of the ground level. Each doorway was crafted with meticulous precision to align perfectly with the cardinal points. Historians note the second level began quickly to accommodate growing assemblies of devotees. Internal arches were introduced early on to distribute weight safely across the lower levels. The causeway bridge was completed next, formalizing the permanent pathway to the inner island. Every window was engineered to allow maximum natural light to flood the central prayer hall. The structural core rose in perfect symmetry, creating a solid base for the upper features. The upper terrace floor was laid with flat stones, completing the main multi-tiered layout. By this stage, the building was completely encircled by the shimmering, fully filled tank. Workers began preparing the upper roofline, shaping the mounts for the future iconic domes. Early descriptions indicate the brick walls were coated in protective lime plaster first. Inside, a dedicated space was framed to securely hold the community's sacred scriptures. The core architecture stood solid by 1604, marking the completion of the structural phase. Artisans then began carving early stone reliefs, introducing traditional artistic motifs. With the main shell secured, the site prepared for decades of subsequent embellishments. Later expansions saw the outer courtyard grow, framing the central pool in a massive square. In later eras, the original brick walkways were gradually encased in elegant white marble. A vast perimeter arcade was built over time, offering continuous shade to traveling pilgrims. Early decorative projects introduced basic stone inlay work along the lower structural trim. The emerging sanctuary stood as a masterwork of early design, poised for its golden future. The brick structural shell was layered with fine mortar to prepare for its massive marble veneer. Architectural accounts describe the early lower walls rapidly transforming into brilliant white stone. 4 small corner pavilions, or chhatris, were mapped out to balance the heavy roof layout. Every element adhered strictly to classic symmetry, keeping all proportions uniform and even. The primary structural phase concluded successfully, setting a monumental canvas for the gold. Surprisingly, it was designed lower than the surrounding land, requiring visitors to walk downward. Unlike traditional temples with one entrance, these 4 doors welcome all castes and creeds. The original sanctuary featured minimal imagery, focusing purely on sound and meditation. An ingenious drainage network kept the holy tank's water level completely stable year-round. The design intentionally fostered humility, subverting usual royal styles of the 16th century. The ultimate transformation began later with the framing of the iconic central dome structure. Builders used lightweight, high-strength bricks to form the perfect curvature of the vault. The central dome was completed structurally, creating the definitive silhouette of the temple. Under Maharaja Ranjit Singh, heavy copper plates were prepared to encase the entire upper half. Each plate was beaten meticulously by hand to match the exact contours of the dome arches. Multiple layers of pure gold leaf were applied, creating an incredibly thick and luminous shield. The arrival of the gold panels marked the definitive transition into the Golden Temple era. The first gilded plates were fixed securely, beginning the brilliant capping of the sanctuary. The dome was encased steadily, layer by layer, turning the upper structure into a beacon of light. A magnificent lotus-shaped golden finial was placed at the apex, completing the dome profile. The completed main dome cast a brilliant, unmistakable reflection across the entire sacred tank. Gold plating quickly extended downward, encasing the entire upper story facade in rich metal. The surrounding corner pavilions were similarly gilded, creating a balanced corporate harmony. With the upper sections fully gilded, the iconic architecture assumed its legendary profile. The transformation created an everlasting testament to devotion, reflecting light, day and night. Every marble surface was polished relentlessly by hand to maximize the light-reflecting qualities. Inside the main chamber, the smooth inner shell was prepared for intricate geometric frescoes.
The surrounding gateways were designed in contrast, framing the main golden core with red sandstone. Sacred script was etched permanently into the entrances, blessing everyone who crossed the threshold. As the structural scaffold dropped away, the final breathtaking vision began to stun observers. Ornate latticework screens were fitted to filter breeze and light into the inner prayer spaces. The grand approach walkway was finished with clean, patterned stones to guide incoming crowds. Even functional drainage elements were converted into golden art, matching the religious theme. The surrounding park and cloister arcade reached full completion, framing the pool perfectly. Interior embellishments mirrored the grand exterior, rich with handcrafted floral details. Devotees washed down the expansive marble parkway, initiating a tradition of continuous cleaning. The massive structural gates were swung into place, completing the protective outer layout. The total complex emerged as an independent sanctuary city, functioning under its own order. The interior layout stood completely prepared, awaiting its role as a spiritual home for millions. The architecture stood completely finalized, creating a flawless harmony between stone and liquid. The golden cladding created an eternal shield, ensuring the structure remains brilliant through time. The pure white marble base anchor stood strong, supporting the heavenly weight above it safely. Every element of its unique structural layout stands as a deliberate message of spiritual peace. With the full plaza completed, the sanctuary became a timeless destination of ultimate harmony. The ancient pool successfully evolved, creating an indestructible shield of total global unity. By offering 4 open doorways, it permanently answered the call for total human equality. The architectural structure stands immortal, proving that humility remains the ultimate power. The architectural structure stands immortal, proving that humility remains the ultimate power. It conquered division not by force, but by providing an eternal refuge of absolute peace. It conquered division not by force, but by providing an eternal refuge of absolute peace. This is the Ajanta Caves, a glowing beacon of inclusion, standing forever complete for the world. This is the Ajanta Caves, a glowing beacon of inclusion, standing forever complete for the world.